On electoral reform, we have been interfacing with the National Assembly. 2 weeks ago, we had a retreat in Lagos with the Joint Committee of the Senate and House of Representatives on electoral reform. Thereafter, the National Assembly is going to organize a public hearing, and it's after the public hearing that now a new bill will at the end of the day be submitted to the President for assent. So we're working with the National Assembly on electoral reform. But at this point, I'm not going to give you any more details. You will hear it from the National Assembly whose responsibility it is. But we reviewed the 2023 general elections on our own. We engaged with the stakeholders. We came up with 142 recommendations. Out of these 142 recommendations, 8 require constitutional or electoral act amendment, and we discussed this with members of the National Assembly. So far, so good. We are happy with our discussions with them, and we are also happy with the speed with which they want to proceed, so that we'll have some necessary amendments done to the Electoral Act ahead of the 2027 general elections.
Mr. Chairman, sir,
thank you very much.
There has been controversy about your tenure in office. At some point, there were even speculations that you were sacked. Please, can you speak to this?
No. This one, I don't think we need to waste time so much about these unnecessary speculations. As far as the law is concerned, and as far as I'm aware, I remain the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and under the Constitution, the Chief Electoral Commissioner of the Federation, and under the Electoral Act, the returning officer for the presidential election. I hope I've answered your question. Thank you.
You know, sometimes when I see Yakub Mahmoud, okay, first and foremost, at least go by Thursday 4 p.m. God will punish Yakub Mahmoud first. That's registered. I'll continue anytime I see this video. A Lagos, and nobody will. No, I don't even want anybody to give me sanity understanding of why it is right or wrong. Leave that. So, but anytime I see Yakub Mahmoud, what comes to my mind is I don't blame him. I blame the system. Somebody spent over 300 billion naira to organize an election that was rated worldwide, apart from people in the APC and the stealing party. An election that was rated worldwide as being undermined, disgraceful, embarrassing, and shameful. Till today, the National Assembly nor any pro-panel has been set up to ask why the election failed. But because the beneficiary is not in office, he has forgotten that taxpayers' monies were spent in organizing the election. And that this man, after using 4 years to prepare for an election, failed the country. He's working freely. He's not being investigated by the SEC. He's not being probed. No agency has invited him. National Assembly has not invited him to come and explain what happened and why the failure, why the server broke down, why IRF did not work on the day, why Beavers could not transmit results. All of this, at the end of the day, he's being hailed as an hero. As I talk to you now, he is preparing for a new elections. And hear him say over 140 recommendations they got from their own stakeholders meeting, and 8 of them will require constitutional review, so to speak. So it will require amendment from the National Assembly. Yet, you still say you want to give it. If you're able to get 140 recommendations from an election, obviously that's failure. Yet, because the people who benefited from it are looking forward to benefiting from it again in the next election, they have kept it. And because Nigerians are beginning to sum up pressure again now for electoral reforms, this man is not talking about electoral reforms. No, we are not interested. Nigerians are not interested. Unfortunately, we are caged. We are in some dilemma. We are likely not going to have it's painful. Because someone like Yakub Mahmoud should be facing should be fighting to have his life if he was not going to be sentenced to life imprisonment for that robbery. Until we have people who are punished, eminently punished for failing to do their job, we will never have a good country. We will never have systems. We will continue to allow mediocres to lead us in certain spheres. But of course, He has done a good job. Even what we call systemic failure as a country person, as a citizen of Nigeria, is what has benefited the sector. And that's why whenever we talk about electoral reforms, some persons are angry. Because to them, having a smoothly organized elections that will make us have a free, fair, credible elections will mean that certain politicians, certain political parties, certain ideologies cannot penetrate and win elections in this country. The only way they can win is to rig their way to power. And that is why people like Yakubu Mahmoud is a stakeholder, can have access to a sitting president, can conveniently and consistently do press interviews and speak all jargons. If we have a country, Yakubu Mahmoud should be running on exile by now. Because he committed money heist, election heist, economic heist, time heist, so to speak. Wasted taxpayers' money. Over 10 million new voters registered and collected PVCs for that election. Yet, we had an all-time lowest result because the manipulation was so magnificent that they had to ensure that people were disenfranchised. And then you think that someone like this God not will punish him by Thursday 4 p.m. And everybody, I have continued to say it, everybody that has praised Mahmoud, everybody that has celebrated him, everybody that benefited from that heist that was done on the 25th of February 2023, and for that heist, because we are not looking like we are serious, except to begin to hold. Someone like Mahmoud should be out of the office. And all of these national commissioners that they are appointing, all of them total rubbish. Because these guys are gauging again to do another magic.